the share screen setting. So I can't. Um, so I can't.
Hello, Akinyemi.
Hello,
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming so early. Sorry for sending the link a bit late.
it's all right.
I was trying to do the final arrangements.
Not a problem.
Thank you. So I think the mentees are running a bit late, but I have sent a message. So hopefully we'll be able to start like in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes.
All right. How long is this supposed to run for?
Um, so it's usually for an hour or 2 hours. But once you're ready to go, you can just let me know. But the way it's going to be is usually, so you have about, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes to talk about music law and everything and the business of it. And then the mentees would ask 2 questions each. So sometimes we also allow them to present. Before they present, they ask their questions and then they make the presentation on another topic. But if you're in a hurry, we can just ask our questions immediately you're done with the presentation, and then once you answer it, then we'll go into the reports presentation
All
for
right.
it.
All right then. I think I'd prefer that I would speak for like 20 minutes on the subject matter and then we can ask questions.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. How has your week been?
Well, okay, fine.
You enjoy the long holiday?
Well, yes, I actually did, but staying at home with children is not really a holiday. So, but it's still fine. It was well. How was yours?
Yeah, I was very lazy yesterday. I was indoors all through, so but I'm back to work now and today was kind of busy.
Okay, okay. That's
And I still have some things to do as well today.
that's the kind of life we want. Busy lives, plenty money.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, so personally, I'm excited actually for this interview, and I'm just wondering why they are not here. So we just have Dawn here, but I'm actually excited because I know that, especially people that are interested in the entertainment space, like you're an you're an icon in that space. Like
Interesting. Thanks for this
sincerely,
super-sized accolades.
sincerely, I think I saw your post like some days ago when you were thanking your fans for taking you to, I think, 17,000 followers.
Oh, no, I don't have fans though. I'm not Whiskey or David.
Yeah, it's so fast now. You have super fans, people that will carry
That's
your mantle on their head,
that's interesting.
and
That's interesting.
that's amazing because I know that once you have a followership like that, people that are dedicated to you, you
That's
can
true.
do anything. You can do anything. But let's just say that you
Yeah,
keep it like
that
a good side, like you're doing just good things. But even people that do things that are not so good, once they have people that are loyal to them, they can always apologize and they are there for them. And then when you're now doing something that is noble and you're doing something that is good, then you have people that are loyal to you. That's a prize. As in, that's like a prize.
it can be very very rewarding when you have a lot of people who believe in you, which I'm thankful to God that I have people who actually um, they find me as a worthy example, and
Yes.
I get a lot of heartwarming messages in my DMs, and I'm thankful that God has helped me to attract those types of goodwill. And I
Yeah.
understand what you mean. When you are like a thought leader or you're in a position where people really admire you and support you, it's very humbling. So I'm thankful to God, and I think it's something you are also working on, and with time, it's going to materialize as well.
Yeah, amen. Amen. And I see that you've actually like been in the space for about 10 years or more.
Well, I've been active for like 8 years online. Actually, maybe like 10 years actually. Since I qualified, I've been very, very active online.
Wow. And that's something that I think lawyers shied away from for like years. And it's just
Yeah.
now people are coming to the power of the media and social media and all that. And I think it's amazing that you caught on to it early to like show us the road.
Yeah. I think I started with some of my colleagues and we're still doing it. The likes of Demilade. I don't know if you know Demilade Olaoshu.
No, I don't. Maybe I don't know by name, but I know
Yeah.
specifically.
He's also an entertainment lawyer of Rapid.
Okay,
And he's done a lot of amazing things as well.
okay, okay. But let me ask one question, Seth, before we start. Does followership translate to money?
Yeah, in some way it does.
Okay. Is
The
there
more
like
the thing is, the more attention you get, the attention is like the currency for any business.
yeah,
That people care about what you're doing, the solutions you provide.
yeah.
So if they care, they would patronize you whenever the need arises. Even if they're not the ones who really need the service, they would refer
Always,
people to you.
yes.
So, but again, um, everybody needs like a fan base, like an audience that really cares for what they do. If you're a
Yeah,
pastor and you're preaching a specific kind of message, maybe faith, or you're
yeah,
preaching healing, you're preaching fertility, getting babies for the motherless, your message it needs a fertile ground to grow.
yeah,
And you have to be able to, through the power of content, events, pictures, videos, audio materials. The more you throw that into the universe, it's going to germinate. It's going to attract more people who need that kind of message.
yeah,
So that's why you find the likes of Tonto DK, Bobrisky, Tokema Kinwa. They already know how to mess with Nigerians. They know that attention is the currency they thrive on. And they know how to just get that kind of attention whenever they need it. So even as professionals starting out, even when you're even made, even when you're comfortable, when you're established, you still need some kind of mechanism to draw attention to what you do from time to time.
yeah.
So my activities online has been very rewarding. Like I always advise anybody who listens to me, like you have to just, because you can't compete with all these big law firms.
Yes.
For now, you can't compete. The only way you can compete is if you own your own spot in the digital space. Like now, I don't care what law firm you are working with. If you say entertainment law, music law, I would hold my own against the very, very biggest law firms in Nigeria.
Yes.
I don't even want to know if you're a partner there, if you are even 25 years post-call. I know that, yes, I'm able to go toe-to-toe with anyone.
Yeah.
So, and that is only by virtue of the notoriety I've built with my online campaign that is almost like a decade now.
Yes.
And what I've done can be replicated by anybody. Very, very easy. You don't even have to be the smartest lawyer.
Yeah. Wow. It makes so much sense. But what do you say about people who are like trying to come into the space and yes, they are posting things, doing all that, but by the time the job comes in, maybe they don't have the capacity to execute it fully.
Yeah, they have to partner with those who have. Even myself, there are some. Even in music law, there are still people I consult from time to time. I have the, I have a lot of experience from working in this space, but there are times when, like 2 weeks ago, one of Nigeria's biggest music exports in the Southwest, the family reached out to me to come try to sort out the estates, the music, like the copyright owned by the estates.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was a very big assignment, and I needed to partner up with a colleague that was equally, experienced as I was. And together, our two law firms will be able to, find reasonable solution to whatever the challenge is.
Yeah.
So there would always be a time when you need more, when you, even though you are concentrated, or even though you are devoted to a particular area of law, there are still people who know better than you do, or there are still colleagues you respect who can equally add value to any kind of brief you have. And you have to consult with them, and you shouldn't be greedy. When I was a lot younger, yes, I would want to take on that matter by myself. But now I'm a lot busier, and I think, well, if I'm partnering up with a colleague who is equally experienced, I don't mind sharing whatever the benefits are.
Yes, yes.
So for young lawyers who land opportunities, anybody can land any big opportunity.
Yes.
Even a guy that is just 1 year post-call, if he's friends with Davido or Wizkid and he becomes their lawyer, tomorrow everybody's going to think he's the expert in the space.
It's true.
And he would now, because by way of his access to David or Wizkid, he's going to see a lot of juicy transactions. He's going to see a lot of contracts. And if he's well-grounded, there will be things he'll be able to attend to. And whenever he's stuck, if he's smart, he's going to look for a more experienced lawyer that can, that can also come on the transaction and guide him. Even all these are respected senior advocates of Nigeria. There are cases where they also partner up. You have like 5, 10 sons working on an election petition and collaborating. So it's nothing new. Salutes to my big bro, Mr. Folarin Aluko. I see you, man.
Welcome, sir.
I see you.
How far now? Yemi Agbalagba.
I salute you.
I greet you. Nice one. Please, fantastic stuff. I beg. I'm taking notes.
Juliana, you have a big masquerade in the house. When I was an artist, Folarin was my talent manager.
Yes.
He was the one shopping me around.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, these stories that you
It
keep
took
telling
me to
everybody.
2007. 2007 Future Awards. It was Folarin that got me the gig, and it was an exciting experience for me, and I'm happy.
Wow, Mr.
I'll guard
Folarin,
it up.
we are so lucky to have you. Thank you so much for finding us worthy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me quickly read out your profile so that we can start officially.
Yep.
Okay, Akinyemi Law is a partner and co-founder at High Tower Solicitors and Advocates, Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria, with his law firm practice spanning over 10 years. He specializes in representing clients in the entertainment industry. His primary focus is on the music industry, representing multi-platinum artists, new artists, record producers, songwriters, talent managers, record labels, and production companies. He currently represents the most important songwriters and record producers in Afrobeats. Prior to qualifying as a lawyer, he was a songwriter, composer, and performer. He was the lead singer of the defunct 100 Degrees Boys Band. He prides himself in helping clients understand the value of their intellectual property rights and also helping to build and protect incidental commercial enterprise. He blogs actively on Instagram and Twitter via his handle at Akinyemi Law and, and has contributed countless articles to the famed Nigerian Entertainment Today website, NET, and many other news outlets. He's he's often he's also often quoted for his expertise as a creative industry consultant. He has also been a legal commentator and an invited speaker to numerous organizations such as Make Music Lagos, Silverbird Television, TVC Continental, Ebony Life TV. He has also helped stage specially curated webinars, seminars, and conferences. It's an honor to have you. I have watched you for years and I'm excited because I know that a lot of people here will learn one or two things. And even prior to this time, you've already spoken about a lot. And I hope that everyone listening is jotting down and will also go back to watch this video. So you're welcome, sir. Let me just quickly remove this and okay, you're welcome, sir.
Yes, so thanks, Juliana. This is a very, very brilliant initiative. Like a lot of people come in my DMs looking for, where to get mentorship. I'm always, happy to share my time and resources as much as I can. So I think this is, really, really taking out your time to have something of this nature is really, really important. And I believe that I would send more people your way. I do a bit of mentorship on my own. And I also have an associate. Together, we are planning to, really take on a lot of people as mentors, as mentees, so that we need more knowledge sharing,
Yes.
not just for creators. As lawyers working in the creative industry, we also need to share knowledge because nobody knows everything. And we also need to grow the industry, and the more lawyers we have playing very significant roles across board in film, in music, in event production, in music publishing, in talent management, I believe the better for the music and for the creative industry at large. Because I am more biased towards the music industry, I still know there was a time, I think early this year, we had like a webinar where I was sharing what the opportunities are for lawyers in the music industry. I believe that the opportunities are endless. What you need to have is, the willingness to learn. And also you must really, really love the music industry to thrive in it. And I think by virtue of our training, going to university, studying for five years plus, being at the law school, I believe there's no better breeding ground than what we've gone through in the law school and at the university. I believe we're able to absorb all this knowledge that we need, and we're able to apply it. We're able to identify the issues, know what the rules are, apply it, and we would arrive at a conclusion using the hierarchy. So if we are going to take anything from our conversation today, I want us to know that we need more lawyers actively working in different areas in the music business. Myself, beyond just being a solicitor, I have my hands in many other areas of interest that are, that are actually still growing. There's a lot of opportunities that as lawyers we can just quickly key into, because in about 5-10 years time, the competition will be a lot more steep and getting in will be a lot more difficult. Like, take for example, talent management. I see a lot of people that are not deserving of the millions and millions of naira that they make. And I know that any lawyer can just be a solid talent manager, because I started as a talent manager as well. And I know you don't really need too much. Just, understanding the business is like everything you need. Then you're able to be an advocate. Being an advocate is to champion somebody else's interest and look out for, making the right kind of decisions. So for me not to deviate from what I'm trying to talk about today, I just hope that at the end of the day, we'll have a better understanding of why we need lawyers. So let me dive in. The law and the music business. That's what I titled, what I prepared. Essentially, whenever anyone, when they ask me that why do we need the law, I always tell them that the law is what guarantees certainty. It is what will ensure that the society is still a functioning unit. Without the law, there will be chaos, there will be disorder, and nobody can prosper in that situation. And there are many reasons why we need the law, especially in music. So the music business is such that it is very difficult for one person to be all things, to be a songwriter, to be a performer, to be the record producer, to be the instrumentalist that will play the drums, to play all the instruments, to be the mixing engineer. It's very difficult. So the music business is very collaborative. Like Burna Boy's album, I'm sure that album had more than 40 creators doing different things. So many collaborations were on that album, so many songwriters, so many record producers, so many A&Rs, and everybody collaborated by investing something. And for all the investment that was made, there must be some kind of exchange and promise, like, oh, for doing this is what you get. I was also fortunate to represent like one of the biggest record producers on that project. And there was an exchange of promise. There was a lot of contracts were exchanged, a lot of invoices were exchanged. And the reason for all of that is rooted in the fact that by the nature of the business, there has to be a chain of ownership. There has to be a chain of control. So when you're giving service, for giving service, something is coming back to you. While giving service, you're also assigning your interest in your creative input to a certain degree, so that somebody can be at the top of the food chain to say, okay, I own this project, I own this work. And then that person has the right to make all the decisions when it comes to exploiting that work. And the fact that you're assigning your interest doesn't mean that you would not benefit maybe in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. So, and all of this assigning your interest is also rooted on the law, a special kind of law, which we call intellectual property law. Intellectual property law guarantees that for, doing some creative work, which is original, you stand to benefit from the exploitation of that work. you also stand to be recognized as the creator of that work. So we're looking at the moral rights, and then we're looking at also all the many rights attached to owning the copyright, the right to, license, the right to sell, the right to exhibit, the right to make derivatives and the likes. So in the music business, there are two areas of law that are like the core foundation for everything you do in the music business. In the music business, number one, you are about creating work and selling that work. So we're talking about copyrights. You're creating musical works and you're commercially exploiting musical works. So that's what you get to do, from when the business was, impacted by technology, maybe in the early 1920s, when radio was created, or when the telegram was created, or when CDs were made, or when streaming, it is still the foundation. The musical work is still the foundation for the music business, which is the songs, which is the sound recording. And then when we leave that, when we leave the musical works, the number two is the trademarks. The trademarks is about identity, what the identity of the owners of all these musical works, how it is being exploited as well. You can't sell a concert, or you can't even sell a music album, or you can't sell a song or a sound recording without attaching it to the identity of the creator. Usually, for you to commercially exploit any musical work, it has to be layered on the identity of the creator. So that is why you find that for a Wizkid, to sell a Wizkid song, the image of Wizkid, would be on the album art, or there'll be a music video where you would find Wizkid. Or for you to sell a 20,000 capacity arena in the UK, you have to heavily market the identity of a Wizkid or a Burna Boy or a Davido. So it tells you about the importance of the identity. And you can't even do business you can't do any kind of business or commercial exploitation in the music business without paying attention to those two pillars. I call them like the pillars of the music business. So when you are building musical works, you're also building the identity of the creator of the musical works. And under intellectual property law, under the concept of intellectual property, copyrights and trademarks provide all the answers to whatever questions we might stumble on. Some of us must have heard of the story of an upcoming artist that was using the name of Wizkid. He made his name Wise Kid, so it can sound like a Wizkid, and then he was trying to profit off the goodwill of Wizkid. I've also seen similar cases where somebody just took I think Nathaniel Bassey's picture, and then I think it was in Abuja or Jos, and then they just put it behind a pastor and then they were actively marketing is it a crusade or a worship night? And unsuspecting lovers of Nathaniel Bassey were drawn to attend the event. And alas, Nathaniel Bassey, I think, had to come on social media to denounce the church. So it tells you that without identity, we might not be able to even do, it's not we might not be, we will not be able to actively sell concerts, endorsements. Nigeria is becoming very, very, the music industry, we're doing a lot of endorsement deals lately. The likes of Brother Shaggy, likes of Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, doing, tens and tens of endorsement deals. And that speaks to the strength of their identity. With their identity, they won the goodwill of millions of people who identify with them and who identify with their works. and they just think that, oh, these guys are exemplary, they're remarkable. Anything they do, we will do. Same thing for the film industry or even Hollywood. Whenever you see a blockbuster movie, it is always tied to the image of the likes of Kevin Hart or The Rock or Michael B. Jordan, because by virtue of being excellent over a period of time, people have the benefits of the doubt in their favor to say, oh, anything Michael B. Jordan, I have to watch. So how many tickets can we sell at the cinemas? So let me touch on copyright. Copyright, layman definition is the right to copy. And I believe if you took your intellectual property class, you already understand that. I want to believe that we have more lawyers here. Juliana, is that true?
Almost everybody here is a lawyer.
Okay, so
I think the lawyers are not around today.
the lawyers are not around?
Sorry, those are not lawyers. The non-lawyers are not.
All right. So there's no need for me to give that textbook definition. So, but it also helps you when you understand that essentially, if you are working in music, the value of musical works can go into dozens of years. In music now, you have superstars like Michael Jackson, the Beatles, Bob Marley. Bob Marley has been dead for 40 years, but he's a cultural icon and is, in fact, I'm working on a project that is linked to the Bob Marley family. I'm happy to, I'm announcing it, but it's not yet official. So when he was alive, he created a lot of musical works and he's been dead for 40 years, but his identity, the trademarks, the Bob Marley with the dreadlocks, with the beards, is still being exploited and is still raking in millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars on a yearly basis. He's selling hats, selling shirts, selling weed. The Bob Marley family also has like a weed dispensary, which is quite big, and they're using his image to market that. So same thing for our Nigerian legend, perhaps the biggest creative industry export the country has ever known, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. It's been gone for like 20 years plus, and his name, his image is still raking in thousands and thousands of dollars. From Broadway shows to documentaries to music licensing to even merchandising to festivals. There's Felabration. To stage Felabration, you have to use the trademark of Fela to market the festival. And I think 2 weeks ago, there was a Bola Ahmed Tinubu advertisement. I don't know who the mischievous people were. There was an advert. And then on that shirt, I think they used the image of Fela. And then Femi Kuti had to make a tweet. He made a statement denouncing the use of his father's image and saying that it is an infringement of his father's intellectual property. So that tells you how important trademarks are assets. So even when we talk about music, same thing. When you create music, for as long as you're alive, you have the exclusive rights to exploit it, subject to whatever contract you get into. And then when you are gone, for the song, you have 70 years. For the record, you have like 50 years. So even you can also, after the expiration of 50 years for the song, for the record, or 70 years for the composition, you can still extend the life of the musical works by making new derivations year, maybe decade after decade. So like now, a Michael Jackson album that maybe if the rights to the composition would expire in 2065, by 2060, they can create remixes of maybe some of the songs that would have expired like in 5 years' time. And then when they remix with the superstars of the time, they would extend the life of the song. And then the benefits will continue to go to his estate. So his grandkids, his great-grandkids, they are set up to not even lack, because they've built, or they are connected to an intellectual property asset that is well established. And anybody that is listening here, I'll just share one life-saving tip that you can take to the bank. If you want to do this music law thing, attach yourself to people that are creating amazing work, display competence, that yes, you can take care of their copyright, you can look after their businesses, that you can also take care of their, you can take care of all the intellectual property assets. Trust me, if you are lucky to have just one or two, you can be set up for life. All you just need to is make sure you get your commissions. And if you're able to do well with one family or with one individual, they will tell every other, they will tell their colleagues, and then you will be the go-to guy. Because in the last 3 years, that has been something I've been actively playing, working towards. How do I really, beyond just being a lawyer, now I'm trying to be a businessman. I want to partner with all these creators of music, songwriters, and record producers. I want to be the one to be their first line of defense. All the music they create, it comes to me. I take care of their distribution deals. I take care of their music publishing deals. The registration of their trademarks, I look after that. I'm always actively trying to champion the proper exploitation of their assets. And for everything I do, I just want to get 10, 15%. And the good thing about this business is sometimes the benefits are not even, the benefits can be mind-boggling, like you were not expecting it. And it could be in the thousands of dollars. So as a lawyer working in the music business, the commodity we are selling is kind of international. And we all know the currency that works internationally. So I'm just leaving it out there. If you are really passionate about the music business, you should be looking out to, at inception, you would not land the big guys. You'll probably land some of the small guys, like the B-list, those who are not yet big, but you have to grow together. When I was starting out like 8 years ago, I could not even, I can't boast about any A-list or B-list. I was working with very low tier creators, but I'm thankful to God that, I've been able to build up a profile. And I've also built up my clientele base with some of these small guys who are becoming big guys. And it's been a rewarding experience. And for young lawyers especially, there is an opportunity out there waiting to be plugged into. Some guys like me, we are getting bored. We're looking for new challenges. We're still working in the music business, but we want to go to a better, there are different ladders, different rungs on the ladder, different staircases. So maybe I've been playing at level 5. I'm also looking to climb to level 6, level 7. Now, let me give you an example of what level 6 and level 7 is for those who are listening, for everyone here. So I've been representing people, drafting contracts, negotiating contracts, helping to register, works with the Nigerian Corporate Commission. Juliana is my plug. So everybody, you can always collaborate with Juliana to do that. But so it's getting really, really boring. So the next thing for me is to be able to identify creators who need funding. And that's something I'm actively chasing. Beyond just being a solicitor who is waiting to advise people, I'm also trying to be a businessman. So if I spot a talent and the talent needs like $30,000, $40,000, I want to be able to give him $30,000, $40,000. And then I would be the one to oversee how the money is being used. All the works we are creating, the production, then I will be at the driver's seat with the distribution. Maybe I'm partnering with a distribution company and the money is coming to me. So I'm posturing for a time when I'll just be like a venture capitalist who is actively investing in helping to build intellectual property assets. And that's how I make my bread and butter, apart from running a law firm. So a lot of young guys now who would not find what I'm doing boring can go into those spaces, identify new talents, try to partner with them. Trust me, there used to be a time I used to actively chase after these talents. You know, I go to studios and I want to be their friend, but I don't do that anymore because I'm aiming for something different. And I'm going to get there really. Because if I can, you know, I don't want to sound like an aspire to perspire motivational speaker, but I'm inspired because that is what a lot of international music lawyers do as well. These international music lawyers know publishing companies, they know distribution companies, they know record companies, and then they're able to facilitate deals. They also know how to get funding. And that is my own next challenge. So essentially, why do we need the law? We need the law so that when I help someone get $40,000 with the, using the law as using the law as an instrument, I'm able to have him assign the interest in what is creating to me for the time being until I get back, my investment and whatever profits we agreed to. And then when I'm done getting all those capital and profits, I'm able to transfer back to the owner of the work. And that is why we need the law. Also, why do we need the law? We need the law because there will always be cases where people run into disputes. Maybe communication goes sideways and then there's a dispute. We know that, okay, by virtue of the contract, this is what we do whenever we run into conflict. We have to seek mediation. Some people say arbitration is too expensive. That, I don't want to do arbitration. I just want to go straight to the courtroom. But I'm always of the view that, yes, you have to know where you stand financially. Like if you're dealing with a $50,000 asset, I don't think any amount in arbitration is too expensive to spend to secure your interest and get like an arbitral award that can become the judgment of the court. Also, what I find is a lot of contracts you do now, a lot of people have lost faith in the Nigerian option of going to court and they just want to situate. In fact, none of these international music companies would surrender to the jurisdiction of the Lagosian or the Nigerian court system. Most of the time, it's always situated in the UK or the US. So that's why we need the law in the music business. Also, apart from, I've already discussed the value of the intellectual property asset and dispute. Also, the law acknowledges the sanctity of contracts, which is the most significant pillar for commerce and trade. If there is no sanctity of contract, then commerce will be heavily impacted. We will not be able to conduct business because without the certainty that is given by virtue of the legal concept of sanctity of contract. Then if you are putting in your money in anything, you can lose your money without any assurance of getting your money back. So I think those are the three areas where the law helps to, guarantee that the business is a cycle that keeps running, ensures that, the value continues to move around, that the value chain the ecosystem still keeps running. Everything is situated on intellectual property assets. And now there are a lot of players across board. You have the record company, you have the talent, you have the music publisher, you have the publicist, you have the media houses, you have the influencers. The ecosystem is a lot. And every dealing, usually you need a contract to protect yourself. And then when you run into disputes, the law also comes in to try to help with the process for resolving disputes. So those are three key areas that I've identified. And then in conclusion, I would also like to state so now, why do we need lawyers as well? If we need law, we know that lawyers are experts at identifying what the issues are and then interpreting the law when necessary. And then if they are experts in the field, they can also render expert advice by virtue of their competence and how many years they've spent in the music business. So yes, it will take a while for you to hold out yourself as an expert in the music industry. You must have really done a lot of work, and then you must understand what the value chain is, which is like that is like, you can't escape it. You can't be an expert in the music industry as a lawyer if you don't know, all the streams of income. What does it take to make money? How do you move from raw material to attaining legendary status like Michael Jackson? How do you move? How do you, move from stage to stage? As a lawyer, you must understand it. You might not know everything. Of course, you keep learning year in, year out. A lawyer that has worked in the business for 2 years usually would not be as experienced as a lawyer who has worked top flight for like 15, 20 years. Although there are some lawyers that have worked for 5 years and the experience they have is a lot more than lawyers that have worked for 15 years. It is also very, very possible. But I know that the longer you work, the more experience you gather and the more suited you are to really take on all these challenges that might come. So yes, what kind of lawyers do we need? You need lawyers that are transactional, like myself. I'm always about, setting up deals, advising on deals. And on the other side, there are lawyers that are also very into disputes. They are the ones that go to courts. They are the ones that handle all manner of litigation. I have a partner that does that for me. I'm no longer interested in going to court because of the other interest I have in music. I can't really balance it. Going to court in Nigeria can be very, very grueling. You wake up as early as 6 a.m., you get to court, and then you're there from like 9 a.m. till like 3 p.m., expecting that the judge will still, get to your matter. And then at 3:30, the judge sends someone to tell you that, oh, that'll be all for today. So there are some lawyers that can still balance it. They enjoy being solicitors, being transactional lawyers, and they also go to court regularly. I think that's like the best kind of balance because when you deal with disputes regularly, it also helps with how you structure your deals and how you advise on some of the deals you are a part of, because you're able to foretell what the areas of conflict could look like. So you are better prepared. But again, some of the people I look up to are strictly transactional. So I think I'm not missing anything in Nigerian courts. That's just what I think. And besides, I have a partner who is really, really into courtroom business. So I think he's able to complement me in that area. So the third types of lawyers as well. If you are listening to me, if you don't want to be a transactional lawyer who owns his own law firm or his own law practice, or you don't want to be a courtroom bully, a litigation lawyer who is very into the music business, you can also work in-house. You can work in-house with any entertainment outfits. We have lawyers now that are actively, working in film companies, event companies, music companies, and they are really, really doing well. One of my good friends, Yemi, used to work at the Mavens. Tayo, my very good friend and brother, also works at Film One. And I believe someday he's going to run the business as well, because lawyers are smart people and the value they bring to the business. In fact, in the US, a lot of music companies, music publishing companies are being run by music lawyers. So sometimes I mess with the idea that, maybe when I'm in my 50s, I can also run like a big international music company. I'll be happy to do that. After I've built my law firm to, enviable status. So I think I've touched on as much as I can. I just had some bullet points that I wanted to touch on. But again, this information is just to provide the initial. But I believe some of you are already invested in the music law or entertainment law practice area. Some of you are actively already working in that space. I can see some familiar names. But for those who don't already work in that space, everything I've said should propel you to look for more information. There's a book I would advise that you get, all you need to know about the music business. I think that should be like a starting point for you. Then you can also go on YouTube, read about everything you can lay your hands on. Motown Records, go on YouTube, watch all the videos on Motown Records. You can also watch all the videos on Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Folarin Aluko. Trust me, you'll be sucked in. You'll also get more knowledge. You'll buy more books. If you're passionate about it, it can be really, really fun. And the music industry in Nigeria provides a lot of opportunities. I think we need more lawyers in more key areas of the business. There are so many people treating the careers of people with, so much disdain. A lot of talent managers don't even know what they're doing. I wish we had more smart lawyers come into the space and, sign up all their clients. There's a lot of money to be made as well. And I'm happy to work here. So if you have questions, I'll be happy to take. Please don't make them too difficult. Don't make your questions too difficult.
Amazing. So you want to be the godfather, right?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I think I'll do my Corey, Mena Akbojavi. They are my ignores in the business, particularly in the music space. Also, there are many, many other people doing fantastic work. So I think the position of Godfather is open to anybody. But more importantly, I want to be able to live well and take care of my family. That's just, and also leave a very good legacy.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Like I have learned so much just listening to you share. And I'm happy that you didn't even go to like, section 1, this one. Like you were very practical about the experience. And I think that is what really matters, because if most people here are lawyers, then they know the law, but the experience of it is what you have shared, and that is amazing. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thanks for
Akinyemi.
having me.
So we are going to move quickly to the questions. So I'll start with Adetola. Just quickly. Yes, so we have some mentors here. Before I forget, Mr. Folarin is here, Mr. Marx is here. Two other people might join us later, but these two people have always been consistent right from the first episode. They are tight people too, like they know their work too much, and we've been learning so much from them. So they are also here and they are listening. So we're going to go straight to the questions. Let's start with Adetola. Just let us know your name, and then you can ask one question. So we'll just go. Okay, Adetola, quickly unmute yourself and ask your question. So I'll be moving fast. If Adetola is not ready, then we'll go to Daniel.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Akinyemi. Thank you, sir, for that practical session. My question is this: if you are, I'm a lawyer to a talent, an upcoming talent, what should a talent look out for when signing deals with record labels? What are those red flags and other aspects that a lawyer should look out for when a talent is signing deals with a record label? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. The thing is, I've been chronicling a lot of talent label relationships for a while now, and usually the problem is a lot of people come into the business and they want to skip steps, particularly the record labels, or should I say investors. So what you find is that some guy somewhere, maybe even a Yahoo boy, like they say, maybe he has like 100 million or 50 million. And because he's trying to, create a new character for himself or to launder his own image, or he wants to be like PGG, he wants to be like Puff Daddy, he wants to be like Don Jazzy, everybody wants to be that guy at the end of the video where you look like this. So they think it is magic that you'll just spend this money and you'll just usher in a new superstar. But that's not how the business is done. You have to go through a lot to, bring a nobody into the limelight. So many of these labels are not proper labels per se. They are lacking in competence. They do not have the requisite experiences. They do not have the requisite experience. They do not have proper advisors. They are not working with people that are experienced in the business. So all they have is money, and they are throwing money at the situation. And that is a recipe for disaster. I know cases where people have spent 100 million and there's nothing to show. So when this label throws money at the problem and then they are stuck, maybe 30 million is gone, then the investor or the record label would, they will turn around and be like, oh, we spent 30 million, this talent is still here. It hasn't taken off. What is going on? Then they start to do their findings, and then they no longer spend, or there is no longer consistency with the functions that they already undertook. So now they are slow to shoot more videos. Now they are slow to, release music, and then the talent starts to get, impatient, and then it's frustrated, and then ultimately there's a collapse in the relationship. So if I'm representing a talent, usually what I look at is, who are these guys we are getting into the business with? Have they done anything in the music business? If no, are they going to be partnering with people who have done things in the business? Because of course, people have to start somewhere. But again, if you are starting somewhere, maybe all you have is money, you have to acknowledge that you need to partner with people that are experienced. So now if I'm representing a very special talent who is looking to sign, I do a due diligence, I investigate who are these guys, what have they done? How would they, push my talent from obscurity to prominence? Do they even understand what they are doing? And I can tell from negotiating with them, if I have a very bad feeling about it, I tell my clients, if my talent is interested, he wants to take the opportunity at all costs, then I would ensure that while we are negotiating, we can easily negotiate an exit. So maybe after 6 months, if nothing is happening, we have the right to get out of the relationship. That would be something I would insist on. Also, I would also insist that there is a minimum spend on a yearly basis. So if you're negotiating, those are some of the things you should look out for. Also, look at the duration of the term of the contract. Make sure the contract is not the duration is not so long. I've seen contracts of 10 years, 7 years. In fact, there was one contract I was reviewing last week, and they wanted 7 albums. And the talent has already signed it. So is in for big trouble. So I hope that explains some of what I would do if I'm representing a new talent.
Wow, thank you very much. So let's move to Sewese. So either Sewese, Paul, or Adetola. Just unmute yourself.
Yes. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Okay. For my first question.
What's your name?
Okay. Yes. Sorry. My name is Adetola Leomi. I'm a party law student from University. So. Yes, for my first question, normally when an artist and a label sign an agreement, there are terms that expressly who owns the right to the music produced. In a situation where those terms are not expressly stated, what does the court say about that? What's like the law in regards to that?
Can you take that question again? Hello?
Yeah, did you get my question?
No, I didn't, because somebody else was trying to say something. Can you take the question again, please?
Okay, for my first question, I said, normally when an artist and a label sign an agreement, there are terms that I think stipulate who owns the right to the music produced. In a situation where those terms are not expressly stated, what does the law say about that?
Okay, so usually like whoever pays for the session is in pole position to own the sound recording. So if the label has been the one financing the record sessions, although there's a relationship we agree that there's a relationship between the artist and the artist and the label. Usually, by virtue of the record contract, there is an assignment of the interest in the sound recording to the record label. Now, if that is silent, then the argument can be made that the record label paid for the sessions. The record label paid for the studio session, paid the record producer, paid for the mixing and mastering. And, by way of interpreting the convention or the custom, what is customary in the music business. When the label does all of this, the label owns the sound recording. But again, it is best that everything is clear, that there is a proper clause that takes care of assigning all the interest to the record label. But in the absence of that, I believe the label can still make the argument to say, oh, it is customary for us to own it because we paid for it. Now, the artist can also claim that they own the musical works. So all the songs that were recorded, I still retain the interest in it because I'm the songwriter. So while you own the sound recording, I own the composition. Mr. Folarin, you want to chime in?
Mr. Folarin, okay, he has not, maybe he...
Okay, he said he'll join in a bit. Okay, so do you have another question?
Okay, if I may just add something. So when you're registering for a record label, usually the record label will not be the original owner, even if you are registering to the Copyright Commission. So you have to show a document transferring the rights from the that's the talent, yes, the record label. So that transfer usually is, that transfer document is what would then give the right to the record label to own. But usually the person that pays for it is usually the owner. Okay. So let's move to, I think, Paul. Paul, are you here? Okay. Don. Paul or Don?
I'm here. I'm present.
Okay, then you can ask your question.
Okay, my question is as regards composers, music composers. I wanted to know the practicability of music composers' ownership to their copyright in Nigeria. I wanted to know the practicability.
What do you mean by practicability? I don't understand that.
Okay, like it is on paper. Most times it's not what it usually is in practice. Most of the times, it's always what ought to be is actually not what is. So I want to know if in Nigeria it is practiced where it's in a situation like where a music composer has composes a song, sells the song, but still has the terms of the contract help him protect his own copyrights to the song, like his own ownership to the song.
Yeah, because see, when you were reading my profile, remember, Juliana said that I represent some of the most important songwriters and record producers in Nigeria. So yes, a lot of composers are making good bread. Maybe not a lot, but at least a significant number of producers and composers of music are actually being able to, benefit from their works. So as it is written in paper, that's what you find in the business as well. It's just that there's a lot of mischief and ignorance, and not a lot of people know how powerful they are. Well, we are sworn to, amplifying the message, and we've empowered a lot of people already. So it is if you're a composer of music, if you know what you're doing and you have, brilliant lawyers like Juliana or myself in your corner, you'll make money. It's happening in Nigeria.
Okay. Then I think there's also something about split sheets and all that. So
yeah. So as a lawyer, all my clients, I always try to insist that they get split sheets and that they sign producer contracts. because without split sheets and producer contracts, the situation becomes a lot messy, or it can become very dicey. You might not be able to claim what is yours. So thanks for reminding me, Juliana. And you can still make a comment as well.
Okay. No, you've already covered everything already. So Mr. Folarin and Mr. Marx are also here. So please let me know if you want to add anything now. I will still call both of you at the end to still touch on everything. So let's quickly go to Dawn, Sewese, Rebecca. So any of you can just ask a question. Dawn, Sewese, Rebecca. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for a very insightful session.
Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, my question is,
what's your name?
Sorry, my name is Dawn Osirma.
Okay.
My question is, what are some of the clauses that can be imputed in contracts, entertainment law contracts, that can protect the artist? Because most times we hear artists come out and say they were not aware of something, and then sometimes some other clauses they didn't know they were being held bound against what they would have wanted. So what are some of the clauses that can impute in place to balance it for artists?
I'm struggling to hear you. Can you rephrase the question, and can you be a bit
Can you hear
slower?
me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is better now.
Okay. I said, what are for some of the clauses that can be imputed in entertainment law contracts? Because sometimes we hear artists say they were not aware of some of the terms of their not like they were not aware, but they did not understand the implication. And sometimes the lawyers that drafted those contracts might not know because of experience and all. So what are some of the clauses that can be put in place to balance it for both the artist and then the record label?
I don't know any clause that can be put to balance it. What I know is that, usually the label has more leverage. They can hire like the best music lawyers in town. And what you find usually is that the talent cannot afford a good lawyer. So they just maybe take the contract to just any lawyer. And then, the negotiation is not going to be balanced, where the record label is using maybe I'll do my career or Mena Javi, and then the talent is using one maybe charge and bill lawyer or just any lawyer that does not know a lot about the music business. So definitely there will be some clauses where the advantage will be given to the label. So there are many clauses in a record contract, especially with the duration, ownership of the intellectual property assets that will be created. In fact, there are some labels that, they would even suggest that they want to own the trademark of the talent. If the talent gets a lawyer, that's not well versed in entertainment law, they might constitute that request. What else? Some labels might demand that you give them 5 albums, 7 albums. If the lawyer on the other side representing the talent does not know much, he's going to accept that. Maybe all is going to be looking out for what is the signing on fee? Oh, the label wants to give me 10 million, an apartment in Lekki, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, it is best that a talent gets a lawyer that works in the music business, a lawyer that understands it, a lawyer that has the competence and many years of experience to advise before they sign. Because a lot of clauses can just be, hidden in different parts that will totally confer the benefits on the label. It is supposed to be a win-win situation. The label is coming with, human resources, coming with finance, and then they are supposed to take the talent from level 1 to maybe level 10 to help the journey of the creator to a more successful stage. That's what it is supposed to look like. But without proper advice, the talent might be shortchanged. Also, a lot of talents do not understand that they have made promises. You are making commitments. You are saying that you would give certain things so that you can receive certain things. So you must understand to the last letter what the deliverables are, what are expected of you. So that should, help you frame your expectations. Some talents just see the flashy lifestyle, they see the fine clothes, fine women, fine apartments, and fine cars. They do not see the hard work that goes into submitting records that are commercially viable, or spending hours upon hours in the studios to come up with quality material that can be promoted to make you commercially viable. So those are the things that I think parties should always pay attention to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akinyemi. Let's quickly move to Sewetse, Rebecca, or Christina.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Yabi, for that insightful presentation. Okay, so in the course of your presentation, you mentioned talent management as one of those key areas where one could look into. So could you please elaborate on more areas for someone showing interest in music law?
You can also work in music publishing. In fact, that's a good area to specialize in as well. Also, you can look at music licensing. Music licensing is the same thing as music publishing. Also, you can look at event production. You can also look at representing filmmakers, helping to sell content, licensing movies globally, all over the world. You can take content from Nigeria and maybe take it to other parts of the world. You represent Nollywood filmmakers. You can make a lot of money from doing that. What else? You can be a publicist. If you know how to write, very well, you can be a publicist. But I think the areas that I really, really recommend, that I know that lawyers can easily take charge: talent management, music licensing, even music distribution. You can distribute music. If you're really consumed by the love for representing intellectual property, knowing fully well that all you need is just one client, a client can fetch you $1,000 every month. And then when you get that one client and you do the job well, you can get other clients. Just from music distribution, if you are consumed by passion to learn it, which you can learn, anybody can learn it. Just go online, watch 10 hours of YouTube videos on how to distribute music. You can do it. Because I already have other things I'm doing, I can't do it. But what I also tell my mentees now, I advise them that, hey, you can take care of people's catalog, but you must love it enough. So you can also run production companies. I wish, I had more talents, more lawyers that are talented so that they can represent some of my clients, help them build their companies. I'm representing almost 30 record producers. Not all of them are serious. But those that are serious, I wish we could help build their business, to scale their business. So that, instead of you being they want to attend to maybe 10 clients. We can just help you have a production company. So you are one big name producer, and under you, we have like 3, 5 up and coming producers. They do the work. Your clients they might not even know that, oh, it's my boy that is doing the work. But they'll think that, oh, everything is done by SARS. Everything is done by Don Jazzy. No, Don Jazzy has like 5 producers that are also working. So that's how you help to scale their business. And if you come in as maybe like a business development / talent manager, and you help build their business from a one-man show to a proper production company, you are going to benefit from that. So whichever way, and the only way you can stumble on an area of the music business where you really like is you have to, study the business, read books, watch all the documentaries you can watch all the films, and then you start to become a member of the community, and then you start to interact and see what they need. You might be lucky, somebody might just give you an opportunity to be the music distributor or be the music license expert or music publisher or the talent manager. And from there, you keep building and keep building.
Yeah.
So there's another book I like to recommend. If you are interested in the talent management business, go online. There's a book written about the Creative Artist Agency. There's one of the biggest talent agencies in the world called CAA. You can get the book. I got the book like 5 years ago, and my mind was blown. Like, that can actually open up your mind to many things.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Akinyemi. I'll just quickly add that being a music supervisor, that means you're in charge of selecting the music for films and screening them and all that. So that's also one thing that you can do. Then a music publisher is like the record label for music composers. So just how the sound recording is managed by the record label, the composition is managed by the music publisher. So as a lawyer, you can have a publishing company, you can learn distribution, and any other thing that you want to learn. It's just for you to put your mind to it. Christina, Rebecca.
Hello?
Rebecca. Yes.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Akinyemi, for the question. Thank you, Juliana. My name is Rebecca. So my question is this. Considering that the entertainment law, particularly music, is not an industry where your clients are readily available to you, unlike more popular areas of law, how do you as a young lawyer work your way up to meeting clients or interacting with clients and landing jobs when it comes to entertainment law?
Yeah, so you've been a lawyer for how many years?
This is my 3rd year.
Okay, so you're still, I want to assume that you're still a young lawyer. The thing is this, I see a lot of people walk up to me like, oh, they like what I'm doing. They would like to work in the space, they like to do what I'm doing. But a lot of people do not want to do the work. If you're in your mid-20s or early 20s, it's a lot easier for you to, in all humility, shrink yourself so you can fit into one tiny gap in the music business. Juliana, I think there's a sound coming from your side.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right then, I think it's a lot better now. So, young lawyers, fresh from law school, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years at the bar, they can, be humble to, just respect themselves, become a member of the creative industry. because trust me, nobody's going to do the hard work for you. The best way to get into the business is to, when you are young and you really do not have too many responsibilities, and you're not really chasing the money, but you're chasing relationships. You're chasing solidarity, camaraderie with creators of music. That's the best way. Not going in with an expectation to make money. You just want to be their friends. You want to go to music festivals. You want to go to maybe clubs. You want to hang out with creatives and be the lawyer, be the only lawyer in the room. So when they see that, oh, this guy is a cool guy, he understands our business, he's able to, explain certain things to us in our contracts, then you start to build your relationships brick by brick. And then if you're lucky, you build a profile. All you need is just one good client. When you do one good work, you'll be able to have other people knocking on your door. Number two, while you are trying to be a member of the community, the creative community, like myself, when I was like 3 years post school, I was already making noise on Twitter. I was writing a lot of law, entertainment law, music law related content. I was disturbing Twitter and Facebook around the clock. So I was like a lawyer that was really into the music, and I would also share my thoughts as a lawyer. Whenever there's a legal issue, maybe a label and an artist fighting, I'm the first to comment about it. And then people, just noticed what I was doing. And then they started sending invitations to me to come on radio stations, television stations, newspapers, and all of that. Trust me, that's the kind of notoriety any professional would like, because it helps to build your credibility. Even within that music business, people will be like, oh, this guy is on TV. I just saw him on Channels TV. Looks like he knows what he's doing. And trust me, I really didn't have it all figured out then. I was, learning. When I learn so much and I'm reading and I'm seeing it, I'm just quick to make a lot of noise about what I read. It had a lot of substance as well. So any kind of content that you're making, you shouldn't just be an attention seeker. But trust me, it is good to seek attention. Attention is the currency that will make sure that a lawyer makes money somehow. And if you think you can just sit in the corner of your room and then all the opportunities will come to you, then you're not ready for serious business. As lawyers, if we really want more patronage, we want more clients, we have to, there's something called legal marketing. There's something called content creation. You must do all of these things so that you have a running pipeline of opportunities coming your direction. So yes, as a young lawyer, you have to be a member of the music industry, attend conferences, seminars, anywhere 2 or 3 creatives are gathered. You have to be there, and you have to be the only lawyer. Don't just hang out with lawyers. When I became a lawyer, I had some friends, all they were doing is hanging out with lawyers. I did the opposite. I was always hanging out with creators, going to events, and that was how I was able to quickly really build a reputation for myself. And that's still what I do. I hang out more with creators than I'm hanging out with my colleagues, because really, with my colleagues, I really do not have a lot to gain, except if they are my mentors or people that, add value to my business in some way, or if they're just my friends. But when I'm hanging out with any of my clients, if I'm in the music studio, from hanging out there, I meet another creative that does not have a lawyer. Then if he fancies what I do, I become his lawyer as well. And we have a conversation. This still happened over the weekend. So over last weekend on Sunday, that's what you have to be a machine for, creating new relationships. And you can do it physically. You can also do it online.
You have to be a machine for creating new relationships. Tagline. Okay, so Christina, you indicated that you wanted to ask a question. So if you're around, you can. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christiana Longe. I just want to know, there's this notion that for you to blow in the music industry, you have to be in Lagos. And there are some of us, and definitely most of them, they are lawyers as well. We will be located around where they are. And there are some of us that don't have the intentions of staying in Lagos because we can't cope with the stress of that comes with staying in Lagos. So how do people like us cope
So where are you staying?
in the industry?
Where are you
Abuja.
staying?
Abuja.
Well, the thing is, with technology, yeah, location is not as important as it used to. But again, if you want to work, you know, maybe if you want to work in the UK, if you're a musician, there are certain music hotbeds that you have to go to. You have to go to London. You have to be at Liverpool as well. Also, Manchester. So there are some areas that even in the US, you have to go to Atlanta, you have to go to California, you have to be in New York. Those are like the, you have to go to Texas as well. And Nashville, yeah, I think Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, so those are some cities where a lot of, those are like hubs, or what do they call this? These are centers where people with like minds come together and they collaborate a lot. So same thing in Nigeria. Lagos is like the land of opportunities for musicians. You can't really be a big musician and not frequent Lagos. And you know, the clients, to a very large extent, the clients and the investors determine, you know, what your success would look like in music. So now myself, I represent a lot of creators, and sometimes getting them to do business differently from what they're accustomed to is very tough. Sometimes you want them to send emails, you want to do virtual meetings like this, but some of them, they prefer a physical meetup. Some of them prefer to call you. Some of them prefer to do WhatsApp messages. So how do you deal? Some people are not yet ready to jump on the wave of, you know, technology. But I know for a fact that with COVID, it has shown that, hey, some of the meetings we usually attend physically, we really do not need to. Because I've been doing a lot of business locally and internationally, virtually. And I believe that even after COVID, this will be something that a lot of people would adopt, and it will be part of their regular way of doing business. So for, you know, lawyers that are outside of Lagos, I think you might need to do extra work to really get the attention of your prospective clients. That is something that you must do. But I think it is best if you are, you know, if you come to Lagos regularly, or if you are rooted in Lagos. But if you are not in Lagos, if you're in Abuja, then you must be very deliberate with how you create relationships. Hello? Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Juliana is
Yeah.
muted. Nice one, yeah.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. I had to mute myself so I don't distract you. Thank you so much, Mr. Akinyemi. So because of time and because of the live issues where I am, I'm not sure when my internet will go off. So I would ask two of the mentors to also make their comments, and then probably would ask you one last question, then we might just close for today. So let me start with Mr. Marx. I'm sure you have a lot to say. He is the founding partner of Ever Law Associates. It's a law firm. Mr. Marx, are you here? Let me see.
Yeah, hi, Juliana. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, wow. Juliana, thanks so much. And in fact, I've just been in school, so that's why you noticed I've not spoken before now. Thanks so much, Yemi. I mean, Yemi has thoroughly schooled us, and it's amazing. Thank you so
My
much.
brother, I salute you.
Well
Thanks
done,
for
sir.
being an inspiration as well.
Well done, sir. Our underground, they follow now. Thanks so much. No, it's good, and yeah, and of course, thanks to all the mentees who joined today. So I'll just make a few comments, but what I want to emphasize first and foremost, I'm so delighted to have had someone like Mr. Yemi, because what I tell people is this: people sometimes don't really understand how IP works, and of course, which is one of the things I really appreciate the way this mentorship program is structured. Because IP, so far as I'm concerned, in Nigeria, has largely failed to fulfill the role it should fulfill. Because, in my opinion, IP practitioners in Nigeria before this time have really, have made IP abstract and divorced it from industry. And IP is a very practical aspect of it. IP is about industry. Because IP runs through the life cycle, of human activity and transactions. Is not exactly something that you wait only to the point of dispute, and it's a dispute-based issue. In fact, IP, in fact, is actually more outside. The part of IP that is actually a lot smaller than the part that is about transactions and business and industry. And like I would always say, I don't know if I've said it on this session of the mentorship program, but I'll just repeat because I think it's important. When it comes to IP, there are certain industries that IP is the core of those industries. Those industries cannot survive without IP. One is pharmaceuticals. IP is the core, the backbone of the pharmaceutical industry. Entertainment industry, like Yemi has shown us today, is also built solidly on IP. To a large extent, not completely. The tech industry is also increasingly built on the backbone of IP. So if you take IP out of the equation, some of these industries I'm mentioning would not be able to function anymore. I mean, everything is just going to go haywire the next day. To a large extent, of course, there's no industry you go into and IP is not relevant. But these three industries, particularly, IP is the backbone. So I tell people it's only in Nigeria that you see, IP lawyers. For instance, people say, look, I'm a patent lawyer. And the patent lawyer is a patent lawyer of all patents. There's no part of the world you see that happen. If you go to other parts of the world, when somebody is a patent lawyer, he's actually typically not even a lawyer in the first instance. Law is a second or even a third degree. The person is already a chemical engineer or is an automotive or electronics engineer who has done that for a long time and then just decided to add a law degree. Or sometimes not even a lawyer, but he just does patent drafting work, patent searching and all that, because these are very technical areas and it's not something one person, in the real sense cannot be a patent attorney for electronics, patent attorney for pharmaceuticals, patent attorney for life sciences and for other areas. So what I like about what has happened today now is that, like I tell people, for instance, I'm an IP lawyer, or IP is one of the areas I work in, but it doesn't necessarily equate to me being an entertainment lawyer. But you can see someone like Yemi now is an entertainment lawyer. It's not just about IP, because there are parts of the entertainment that goes beyond the scope of IP. So for instance, Yemi spoke about splits, for instance, split sheets, for instance. Now, that's beyond, even though it's based on IP, really, because it's just about ensuring that people define the relationship or the owners, the percentages that they own in a work, in terms of the different people who contribute to producing that work, the composer, the songwriter, and all of that. But you can see that sometimes those agreements now, you could be a good lawyer, a good IP lawyer and all, but if you don't understand what is market in the entertainment industry, you are still going to fumble if that contract is put before you to advise a client. So when you have an entertainment lawyer, you're talking to somebody who is in the industry, you understand where the industry is headed, what kind of music is making trend at the moment, what we are expecting to see. So it's beyond knowing IP law, beyond knowing, the rudiments of copyright and all of that. It's about even understanding the industry and where the money is moving, in the industry. So that's really an advantage. So what I always tell our advice the mentees is, IP is a broad field. It's good you can start up broad, but with time, you should actually consider tapering into one of these industries and plug into this. And I think Yemi that has given us practical examples. I mean, he has even revealed some of his trade secrets, how he goes about getting these clients and all. And that's just the only way it has to happen, because you are not going to expect to be, an entertainment lawyer representing artists and all, and yet all the times we find you are finding you in lawyer conferences, and you're not actually there in the market with the guys who would retain you. And for young lawyers, I mean, you have all the advantage. This is one aspect of law where your clients are, for you, a young person within your age range. Typically, if you are an M&A lawyer, for instance, who has mergers and acquisitions, I mean, where are you going to become friends with a board director who is 60 years old, who's going to engage you to do a merger and acquisition for him? But with the entertainment industry, you are friends with the producers, with the songwriters, with the artists themselves. So it's a lot easier for you to, break into the market. So if there's one aspect of IP law, I would encourage you to truly consider after this mentorship to begin to focus on and go into, in your young ages, age of practice, then I'd really encourage you to do entertainment law. And I mean, Juliana has done you all the favor in the world by being someone like Yemi, because I mean, with him, as far as I'm concerned, in Nigerian music entertainment industry, once you have him, there's nothing else you need, in this industry. So it's fantastic, and I would encourage you guys, just keep your heads down, keep digging in on this area. It's a broad area. It's an untapped market. I mean, like Yemi said, even for somebody who was mentioning you are in Abuja, even in Abuja, there's a lot of activity actually in Abuja as well. It may not be as much as this in Lagos, and like Yemi said rightly, typically for any artist, and I mean, you should be the kind of lawyer who knows when your artist is ready to hit the Lagos scene and should help him make that transition into Lagos. But there are lots of them here in Abuja, even in the smaller the smaller cities. I mean, for instance, people think there's no entertainment in the north. Kannywood, that's the Nollywood equivalent of in Kano. It's another huge industry, but nobody's there. No lawyer is there digging into that area. So even if you are not in Lagos, you still have the opportunity of digging into a unique part of the entertainment industry, making a name for yourself. I mean, Mr. Emi has told us how to do it. I mean, you don't want to be an entertainment lawyer and then you are, like I said, LinkedIn is good. But I think it's for the more people who want to do M&A. I know. But you want to do entertainment, like I follow Emi on Instagram. That is where he should be. I mean, I see him on Instagram. Even the way he is on Instagram, he himself is already, a celeb as it were. So, so that's where you should be. If you really want to fish in this water, that's the kind of place you'll be. So it determines who you are, how you present yourself. So I mean, you will see Yemi on a good day wearing suit and tie and posing on Instagram. The guy is decked out, or like a superstar music artist himself. So that way he's relating with his market. So we need to understand it and customize ourselves to suit our market. And I believe if you do that, there's so huge opportunities in the entertainment industry. You can't even believe it. I think it's so untapped that you'll be wondering what people are doing. And we thank people like Mr. Emi who have really taken that challenge, opened up a route for you. And I mean, you have it all now. So I'll just encourage you to go after it and really give high consideration to, focusing on the entertainment industry. So thank you so much, Yemi. Thank you, Juliana.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Marx. Thank you so much for bringing out the punchlines and things that people should write down, look into. So let's call on Mr. Folarin to also talk and share his own wisdom with us.
As my talent manager.
Wow, well done. Fantastic stuff for Yemi, and I agree with what everybody has said. I don't think I can reinvent the wheel at this point. Marx has uncovered the field, and Juliana will recover the field. So I don't think there's much I can add. In terms of career choices, it doesn't get any better than this. Yemi is evidence that diversification works and that you can actually be good and at something, as a lawyer at a niche area, even in IP. Juliana is also evidence of that. Marx is evidence of that. So I think in terms of choosing a career path as a lawyer, nobody has to tell you theory. We have practical real life examples here. It might not be easy at the outset, but is much easier now than it was. Marx is saying, those who started IP, yeah, and it was maybe 20 years ago, 30 years, even 10 years ago. It's much easier now than it was just recently. So I think in terms of building a career and impacting the industry, there's a whole lot.
Okay, I think Mr. Folarin's network might be having issues.
Okay.
So while we wait to see,
you don't have precedence, things are laws haven't been tested, and laws have not been.
we can hear you, sir. Maybe you just continue.
Okay, it's coming back.
Let's see. Okay, he's not here anymore. So I don't know. So I was going through the list and I discovered that Benis too is here. Do you want to ask a question? The reason why I called Christina was because she private chatted me that she wanted to ask a question. Benis, she's
hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Akinyemi. Good evening, Mrs. Juliana. Okay, my question, I wanted to ask, how
Hello?
do you differentiate between...
Hi, Benis.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Folarin is back.
Okay, so let's Mr. Folarin round up and then you ask your question as a final question.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, the Zoom demon struck again.
Okay.
So yeah, I think in terms of building a career, this is what it is. There are opportunities in terms of developing the law, and that's, I'll just encourage us the mentees, to look into ways that you can develop the law. IP is so wide, like Mark said. The sky is only the starting point. So well done. Thank you, Juliana. Good stuff. Yemi, very as in all
Thanks,
those days,
bro.
but I'm actually very impressed, and I learned a lot every time. Nice one.
My brother, I salute you.
Thank you very much, Juliana.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Benis, you just ask your question and answer a question and give your final words to the mentees as we close.
Okay. I wanted to ask, how do you draw the line between artist management and your role as a lawyer? Because sometimes, because we are lawyers, people just walk up to you to tell you that, oh, can you be my manager and all of that. So sometimes you don't know how to draw the line between the two of them and bill for your work as a lawyer and then also working as an artist manager.
Okay, man, that is a very, very brilliant question. In other jurisdictions outside of Nigeria, there are people we call law managers or law managers, especially in America. America is a very dynamic music market where there are lawyers now that are doubling as managers. Also, I don't know how many of you know Davido's manager. Davido's manager is also like a lawyer. Actually, he's a lawyer. Davido's anybody who wants to engage Davido would have to always go through his lawyer. And I know a lot of people have that consideration, like, oh, I'm just a lawyer, but I can't be a talent manager because that's a different responsibility. But trust me, I believe that a lawyer can also double as a manager, especially if the lawyer understands the music business What are you doing as a talent manager? You're directing the course of the career of your talent. You are making decisions. You are discussing about the exploitation of, the services of your clients. I believe that many lawyers who know the business can take up that responsibility. Now, there might be issues of conflict of interest. At different turns, there might be issues of conflict of interest. But I think if you are the lawyer, as a lawyer, you are supposed to be like the chief advocate, the advisor, the counselor, and everything you are supposed to do should, by virtue of a fiduciary duty to your clients, should be in the interest of your clients. So if you are doubling as the lawyer, you're taking care of legal issues, and you're also doubling as a talent manager, there should be a conversation to straighten that out and there should be an understanding between the talent and the lawyer. And then the lawyer should know that, for all this work that I do, this is what is coming to me as benefits. So if you are just a lawyer and you are getting 5%, now you're a lawyer who is also taking on the responsibility of the talent manager, which I actually do for some of my clients as well. Then your 5% can be 20% or 15%. But you know that before you can also be a talent manager, you must have the competence to deliver. And it is a lot of work as well, especially if you are representing a busy talent. It is a lot of work. So it is very, very difficult to even be a lawyer and a talent manager. But yes, if the talent is still on the upward swing, you can still take on that responsibility. But once they become superstars like A-list artists or B-list artists, you might not be able to do the two.
Okay.
So,
okay, yeah. So, do you want to say something finally to the mentees? Or?
Okay, so yes, Juliana, thanks for bringing me on board. I really, I've had a nice time. And, I'm always in support of knowledge sharing. Let's share knowledge, let's empower each other. The opportunities are limitless in the creative industry. As a lawyer, you can even just choose to represent online influencers. Juliana, I think you should mute. Let me just quickly do like a 1-minute conclusion. Yeah. So I think it's better now. So yes, the opportunities are endless, and you can be any kind of lawyer. You can be a transactional lawyer. You can work in-house. You can work, you can build production companies. You can work, in a film company. You can work in a music company. Also, you can have your own law firm like I do and be a solicitor and represent, tens of clients. Actually, I'm praying to God that I'm able to expand my clientele base. I'm happy that at least I have, a sizable amount that keeps me busy. So beyond just even being a solicitor, I also have an interest in music publishing, music licensing. I have an interest in music education as well. So I want to advise you guys, if you really like, the idea of entertainment law, invest as much as you can, soak in all the knowledge you need, read up, watch a lot of YouTube videos, know everything going on in the entertainment space, read Variety, read the Hollywood Reporter, attend conferences, seminars, follow the biggest entertainment lawyers you can find on Instagram and LinkedIn and on Twitter. Follow the biggest film lawyers, follow the biggest music lawyers, and trust me, you'll be inspired with each passing day. You'll find the motivation, and then you start to build your own career brick by brick, client by client. And before you know it, you are having a fulfilling career working in music. I'm thankful to God that I have the opportunity that I have now. And I know that, there will be many more years of fulfillment along the way as well. So thanks for having me, Juliana. Hopefully this is our little chat. In about 5-10 years time, somebody here is, running Sony Music Africa. Somebody here is running Silverbird Films. or Film One Nigeria, and then we're having lunch and dinner, maybe some hotel, some fancy hotel in London or France. And then you just remind me of today, like, oh, Juliana's mentorship program, you know, your presentation or your chat really spurred me to action, and I'm happy that, you know, that I attended. So the future can be painted by what we do. We can manifest many things, and trust me, I do not take it lightly. Everybody that has supported me, even Folarin, you know, Folarin, I do not know a lawyer that loves new information more than Folarin. Since we're students at the University of Lagos, he was really, really hands-on, looking for information. And the more knowledge you have, you are best suited to develop new skills. And the more skills you have in a capitalist world, with all things being equal, also with you being lucky or blessed, it's gonna, you know, you'll get benefits in the marketplace because by the nature of the skills you have. So that's my advice to everybody that tuned in today. I look forward to, you know, seeing a better version of you guys in some years to come. Thank you very much, and enjoy your weekend as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akinyemi. Thank you so much for being so humble about all the things that you've done and about even sharing knowledge. I am extremely grateful, and I see your post. I like your post, your approach, everything about what you do is amazing. And thank you so much for setting a high standard for those of us coming to also learn and to also aspire, to perspire and to look forward to. All right, thank you. You're muted, oh, you're muted.
Sorry, let me chime in. We will aspire to perspire, and we will not retire until we acquire.
Amen. Wow, we have to motivate each other, especially
Yes,
when we find ourselves. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone who submitted your reports for this week. Sorry we could not take you. Hopefully we'll take it next week. Thank you, Mr. Marx, for always showing up. Thank you, Mr. Folarin. And for those of you that will not submit your reports and you will not send an email or a text or a WhatsApp to say, I'm not submitting my reports, well done, I'm seeing you, eh? All right, take care of yourself, have a wonderful weekend, and be sure to be safe because of COVID-19, please. Thank you, bye. Thank you, Mr.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Have a lovely
Bye.
weekend.
Have a lovely weekend.
Thanks. Bye.